Tell me your thoughts on mental health.
Mental health is something that is very overlooked in America, at least. We are so focused on what physically ails the body that we forget that people are multidimensional and that little things can kill just as well as cancer. Um, I think it's important for people to stop and look at what's going on in themselves, as well as take a look with those going on around them, and just be aware.
Mental health to me is all kinds of things, but the down and dirty definition would be just the overall well-being of an individual and the individual deciding or determining what he or she can handle at any given point in time.
I think you should always keep a clear mind, because if you build up a lot of anxiety and stress and stuff, it'll like hurt your mind and you'll be depressed all the time, stuff like that.
So I think that mental health is something that is very underdeveloped in athletes. I think especially as I've become a coach, from my experience as an athlete, it wasn't really something that we dove into. You know, we didn't really talk about the mental health side as much. If you were struggling, sure, you could go talk to a counselor, but it wasn't something that our coaches ever addressed with us, how intertwined it is with athletics. And
I think that paying attention to one's mental health is really important, and just not ignoring the fact that your emotions exist and it's okay to talk about them and notice them.
It's very important, especially if you're a student, and just like when you're just like growing up too. Like it's very important to take care of, like learning how to take care of your mental health, and like how to like finding your own ways of like how to express yourself and what you need to get through these things. And like you need like friends and family or someone to talk to, I think is very important, and just not ignoring it and pushing it off to the side because it doesn't matter. When it does matter, it's your own well-being. So
I personally feel like mental health isn't as publicized as it should be. It's an issue that should be covered. I feel like we don't take it seriously enough. I feel like there's not enough support.
Not very many people know about it and know how important it is, because a lot of people think, oh, like you're having a bad day, just deal with it, but it's more than that.
If your mental health isn't okay, then you're not okay.
We need to bring to the forefront and need to destigmatize so individuals are more comfortable in seeking out assistance when they need it.
I come from a generation where my parents were not only very ignorant of mental health issues, but also very scared of them. They didn't want to address mental health issues, which were very obvious. Even when I was a kid, it was like, wow, this person has problems. And the general response was, well, that's just the way they are, and leave them alone.
Gotten older, and as I've through my professional running career, I've seen more and more how both debilitating that it can be for some people, but also how helpful it can be for some people in their athletic careers. So
I tend to view mental health as something that can be fairly overlooked, even though in our present day we are trying to be more understanding about what mental health means to people. It's still pretty stigmatized. People still don't have a great understanding of what it means to take care of your mental health.
I think we should be working on it more. I've been very fortunate with my family being pretty accepting on all the stuff I do, and so I haven't had too much strain on it. But even with them being accepting, I still had a hard time. So that tells me that a lot of people that don't get accepted have it even worse, and so we should work on it even more than we think we have to.
I think mental health issues are extremely important. I think they are also extremely ignored in America and probably worldwide. I think it should be given the same recognition that we give physical health issues.
I believe that it's important to recognize your emotions, how your brain reacts to those emotions, and what your thoughts do. All of those things mixed in, as well as our behaviors. It's how we feel and think about our day-to-day lives, the people that we interact with, and what we do with the thoughts that are, unfortunately, they can be pretty negatively wired in us.
Mental health is extremely important and something that we as individuals and administrators need to focus on and create a value in. I think especially in Idaho, there is a stigma when it comes to mental health and people reaching out almost as if it's showing a sign of weakness or something. The culture in Idaho is, pick yourself up by the bootstraps and just carry on.
Mental health has always been a really big deal for me, just because of all of my experiences in my life. And I think the best way for me is to express myself through art, and I don't know, I feel like that really helps mental health.
I feel like a lot of people, when it comes to mental health problems, they don't really seek help, or they try to solve it themselves, when honestly when they have too much going on, they just get to a breaking point where they don't know what to do.
It's fed by our emotions, by what we do physically and what we do spiritually, and how we take care of ourselves, how we feed ourselves, how we protect ourselves when other people are around us. Mental health is huge.
It's an important thing that everyone should take seriously, because it's something we don't really see as important.
People who do experience mental health issues, they're shy to admit and receive help.
People just always assume that you can just brush it off, or just be happy. They just tell you to be happy.
Your body, it needs a homeostasis, it needs a balance throughout its entire thing. So if your mental health isn't okay, then you're not supposed to be okay physically. That's just how that works. They're all hand in hand. Your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health, it's all hand in hand. And so if one of those are out of whack, you need to get that fixed. You need to treat it like it's a broken bone. You need to get that fixed immediately, because it's like a broken bone. It can break you down.
Mental health is not treated as something that's serious, when in fact it is extremely serious. It's much more serious than an injury, where you would absolutely go in, if you broke your arm, you would go in to see a doctor about. Well, mental health is much more serious in terms of health concerns and crisis, but we don't take it as seriously.
All right, and tell me, what do you do for your mental health?
Oh, nothing good. I tend to self-isolate and play games to detach enough from reality to reset to where I can go out and do the daily activities I need to do, which can be kind of difficult when you have anxiety and depression, which I do. Mm-hmm. So it's more coping, just enough to get out and perform the daily tasks that I need, instead of just being like, I'm all right. No, nobody is ever really all right. We cope the best we can and we get on with our day.
I think sometimes we're our own worst enemies, and we have a lot of self-doubt just naturally. So a lot of times it takes seeing someone believe in you even when you don't believe in yourself. And
I go home every day. I spend time with my wife and child. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do things around the house. I have learned to find a balance with my workplace and home. And when I leave the office, I try very hard to just leave everything where it was, because I know that the next day I'm gonna find it, I'm gonna pick it right back up where I left off.
Delete my social media, not delete it, but
take a break.
Take a break from it, because it's really important. And I've noticed how I've felt so much better about just taking a break from it.
I try to exercise. I noticed that the physical activity, or any kind of activity, takes the stresses it's a good way to deal with stresses.
Counseling for a lot of stuff for a lot of years.
Yeah.
I had a really hard childhood, and it helped me see myself as who I am. And now I know I can understand myself as who I am. And like, don't ever be ashamed to say you're going to counseling, because that you're learning more about yourself. And a lot of people don't have the courage to do that, and it's awesome.
Yeah. I love doing a lot of yoga and working out. I think doing something that's hard is good for me because then afterwards I get relaxed.
Yeah.
Because after that, you just like, whatever happens, I don't really mind. I'm so exhausted and I have no more energy to worry about that stuff.
It's been a journey trying to figure out what works for me, because I've had times where I've completely doubted myself and other times when I've been totally confident. One thing that did help me during my professional running was actually physically writing down things, my goals, both my athletic goals, my academic goals, and writing them down daily. It wasn't just a one-time thing. It was every single day, and I can go back and look at some of those notes, and it's kind of fun to look in my training logs and seeing the things that I was struggling with that week, and writing down those goals regardless.
I also like to write poem songs, draw, paint, or just take naps.
I like to read Stephen King.
Getting out camping and hiking, and again, that kind of goes along with being able to unplug and just getting away and you know, kind of getting more in tune and in touch with me personally and you know, the togetherness with others and you know, so those are some of the pieces that I think I do personally for myself.
I used to be afraid to let people know that I have anxiety, and I used to think that it meant that I was a broken person and I didn't want to let anyone. But then I told my friends, and they've been like super supportive, so I stay in contact with them. I let them know when I'm struggling, and they are the best things ever.
The way I'm trying to manage it is by finding someone who I can really trust, or also by like going on a brisk walk or like a run or something. Like that's what really like calms me down. But like having someone who I can rely on would definitely help on like a lot.
I have to take care of myself personally because nobody else will.
As a student in a program at CSI, I feel like there's a lot of things going on in my life that I don't have control over personally, and so I try to find things that I can control and work on those. Things like coming to the gym. I love the gym because it's a place where I can control what I get to do and how my body responds to what it's asked to do, and how, you know, how many weights I lift or how much weight I lift. This is a place where I can control what I do to make me feel better, or to get my mind off of things that I can't control.
To help my mental health, I try to like do yoga and play basketball and stuff like that, just to clear my mind of like other stuff that I have going on, like school, stuff like that nature.
Okay. To disconnect myself from social media, because I feel like when we use social media, there's a lot of expectations to be met. We start comparing ourselves to others. It's not healthy. It creates unhealthy habits.
So with my own team, I really try to talk about it, make it something that we can talk about.
I write music, I like to paint, I'll go outside sometimes. Like, it's not just one thing, it's like a variety of things. So.
Every morning I have a routine. I do my meditation, my personal prayer. We do a family prayer as well. I have scriptures, I read scriptures, and that helps feed my spiritual self.
Now that it's warming up, I'm starting to go outside more and trying to be more positive and just taking one day at a time.
Just try to laugh a little bit and keep things as just not let things get to me too much.
I like to listen to music or read a book.
We go on walks. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Accountability partner or like a friend to do something with. That's huge.
I utilize the counseling center here at CSI. It's a good resource, and there's really no shame in going to counseling. Like,
yeah,
you're just trying to learn about yourself, and sometimes it takes another person to do that.
When I'm stressed out, I focus on one thing and then take it one step at a time. So one problem at a time. That's the one main thing that gets me, because I like doing everything last minute. And when it all comes crashing down, I just decide to break, and I don't want to do anything, but I have to finish. So one step at a time.
I'm focusing on bettering myself right there. Like, I know that lifting this weight, doing this bench, that's gonna make me like myself more. You know, I'm getting into the body image of someone healthy, and I love that. I love that thought of staying healthy is gonna help me better, help like physically, mentally, and emotionally.
For my mental health, I like to read books. That really helps calm me down.
I'm a runner, so running has always been good for my mental health, just to relax and kind of clear my mind.
I'm the sort of person that loves people. Like, I just love people and like learning things about them and everything. But then over time, I've had to kind of learn how to love myself like that and to be like curious about my own mind, curious about why am I feeling like this or why is this, and it's been really helpful for me to just see myself as something good in the world.
Finding activities that you like to do, honestly, like, I don't know, some people don't like to get help, or like I said, they keep it to themselves, but I feel like the more that you seek help and just like try your best to put yourself out there and like be heard really means a lot.
Your success here at CSI is if you're truly happy with your experience, and if you're truly putting an effort into it, and if you're doing things not just to do them, but if they have an intention behind them. And if you're doing things like that, then you start to care about it a little bit more. When you care about something, it becomes something that you own. When you own it, it's something that you cherish and you remember and you start to love. And it becomes something that you're not just doing for other people, but you're also doing for yourself. And when all those things mesh together, ultimately you feel at peace with yourself and you can be happy in that way.
Just take it day by day, really, with my goals and everything.
Yeah.